Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I covered how Yagizkan Erdoğmuş set the record for the youngest player ever to reach 2700. He broke Wei's record. And now I'm covering Faustino Oro, because he too nearly set a record. He is the second youngest grandmaster in history. He was very close. He was very, very close to getting the youngest grandmaster in history. He just missed out on his final norm, but he did finally get it in a huge chess festival where he played Yanni Pomnishi in the final round, and we'll have a look at that game in just a moment. But I'm first going to show you one of his earlier round games. This was one of his better victories of the tournament. He finished with 6 out of 9 points. It was the Sardinia World Chess Festival. He's got the black pieces against international master from Italy. And it was just a very nice game that the two of them played. It was like a ready King's Indian attack kind of thing. Kind of separate pawn structure. Knight to c6 is an interesting move that he spent 15 minutes on. So already, some interesting ideas that he comes with. We have d3, d4, knight comes out, and he just lets white take his bishop. He's like, you can have my dark squared bishop. He's going to put a lot of pawns on dark squares, so he's happy to just have a light squared bishop for the moment and to have two knights. So we get this transformation of the pawn structure. We get knight to g4. Now both dark squared bishops are threatening to be taken. White would probably like to keep this, but I mean, the light squared bishop's the golden thing of the position, so if it gets taken, it's not too much of a problem. But we throw in this move, we attack the queen. Now black's got an interesting position. You can go back with the knight. You can play f6, which is maybe not advised. You can, of course, slide the queen over, but then, you're kind of losing some control of this. So we get bishop e7. Both bishops move now. We get this trade, and now we get h3, and the knight goes back to f6. And it's a pretty balanced position, and by that I mean white is +1. The engine doesn't like the way that Faustino's done this, but he's only 5 minutes down on the clock, and it's not that bad. We get rook to e1, and we get a6. Sorry, something's like hooting at my gate or in the street. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up. a6, and now queen a4. After 21 minutes of thought, I don't understand how this happens. 21 minutes of thought for you to play queen a4. The idea is very simple. If you take my knight, I take your rook. But what happens if, I just don't, and I play, bishop e6? What now? Now I can take your knight. So now your knight has to come backwards, and I just play queen e6, and all of a sudden, Faustino's back in the game. The knight goes out to g5, looking for his bishop. He's fine. He's like, you can take my bishop. My knight's now sitting very nicely on d4. Thank you for this weakening of the pawn structure. You no longer have an e-pawn to also kick me out. So my knight just lives here unless you're going to trade it. So we get this. Knight goes back because you don't want your queen to move and kind of get offside. Also, this looks like it's hanging, but you're kind of inviting your own problems. So it's a decision you weigh up. Queen a5, knight c5, rook to ad1, and now c6. And Faustino is just going to start to outplay his opponent. We get knight e4, which is a mistake. Allows this trade, which looks like there's nothing wrong. But I just play rook ad8. You can play d4. I just play f5. You play c5. I play queen e6. Rook drops back to e2. And now e4. And Faustino is just taking control of the game. Queen b4, rook b8. And now f3, very simple idea. If you take, you lose your queen. So we play knight to f6. We just reinforce. Takes, pawn takes. And now the queen drops back, looking for a queen trade. Yeah, fine. Rook f8. The queen's pinned, so it can't be moved. So if you would like to trade queens, you can take on my terms. We get now g4, h6, h4, queen takes b3, pawn takes b3, and now knight takes g4. You can have that pawn back. I don't want it anymore. There was about to be some explosions here, so you can have that pawn. Bishop takes. Now the knight comes back to f6. Now you have to go to d3, and we swap off a set of rooks, and I play rook to e8. It is now into a time scramble. Faustino is a very good player under some time pressure, and with minimal time, he's very, very good at that, and white is too overextended. It has too many weaknesses for white, and so Faustino is going to now look to pick them all up. This was an open tournament. It wasn't like a GM norm robin. He had to get in an open tournament. So the players have got plenty to play for. King to f2 is the wrong move. It's amazing how one king move can lose you the game on the spot. Like in this position, b4 is fine, king e2 is fine, rook f1 is fine, but king f2 loses simply to knight e4 check. And you might say, wait, I don't get it. What about, like, just trading? What happens if, like, for example, the king's in, you can't defend that. Because if you move your rook over, I take. And, for example, if you give me a check, which looks to be the only way, king d3, and I'm just in the position, and then I'm about to post up on d5, and it's just a horrible position. You've had that the whole game. So king moves over, but now I pin the bishop. You attack my knight, I come back, and there's nothing you can do. We trade everything, and this is a winning king and pawn endgame. King f5, b4, king g5, king e4, king takes h5, and Faustino Oro wins. And it really, really was just a game where he put pressure, and his opponent blundered right at the end. Now, he did play Jan Nepomniachtchi, and he lost in the final round. This was the biggest match, the toughest opponent he faced the whole tournament. But he finished with a Grandmaster norm and a Grandmaster performance. So he's now 25-28 in terms of rating. His performance was 25-94, so well over 2,500. He was undefeated until the final round. He held draws against like two tough Grandmasters from India, a Grandmaster there. Three Grandmasters from India he played. Kartikan Murali, Aditya Mittal, Leon Luke Mendonca, made draws against all of them. Defeated everybody barring one FIDE master that wasn't a Grandmaster, so a win again in the first round against FIDE master Gerhard Lorschid from Germany, win against international master from France Alexis Tahey, the win I showed you against the Italian international master, and in the penultimate round a win with the black pieces against international master from Poland. So he was 6 out of 8 and already had the GM norm going into this round. It was 55 moves against Jan Nepomniachtchi. He had the black pieces. It's not easy to play Jan Nepomniachtchi, and Jan busts out d4, considering he's a normal e4 play, allows the Nimsa Indian. A standard-ish opening. Wasn't too much to say. Like, I've seen games like this end in draws very quickly, but there can be play. And we kind of swapped off a lot of pieces and headed very quickly for an endgame. At some point, they were deciding which pieces to keep on. We had a rook trade, but it was here. So g5 was inaccurate. It was a mistake. And knight g4 was a real big mistake here. This is what kind of catapulted everything, as Jan quickly swapped a lot of stuff off. And ultimately, what he does is he kind of kicks the queen away, and he picks up a pawn in the center of the board, and he safeguards everything, and he pushes a passed pawn through, and creates a second passed pawn, and he gets a pin, and he wins up a piece. And he gets up a piece, and Jan ultimately converts the game very nicely. Faustino fought on for as long as he could. Wasn't just going to resign. It was the final round, and if you're losing, you may as well play on. But he ultimately did suffer defeat. But if we go to the wider view, I will show you now. Ultimately, you can see when I click on here, he was undefeated, 25-58, 25-94 in terms of his overall performance. It was really brilliant from him, and he becomes the second youngest Grandmaster in history. I'm sure if I click on news, is it here? No. So I might have to check on news elsewhere. Okay, news. It will definitely be a news article here on chess.com. Andy Woodward. Where is it? Where'd it go? Just showing Magnus Carlsen. Well, Magnus Carlsen's always newsworthy. Okay, let me see. Will this pop up on your feed? Is my question. I don't know if you can see this. You can't. Okay, it's fine. So Yegis Kanidokmus, the Messi of Chess, 12-year-old Argentinian phenom, has become the world's second youngest chess grandmaster. As the final round at the Sardinia World Chess Festival 2026 between Faustino Oro and Jan Nepomniachtchi started, he'd already secured his third and final grandmaster norm, thus becoming a grandmaster regardless of the result in the final round. He's well within grandmaster strength, as he has shown, and he's played several times over the board, especially in online. This title was just a matter of time, and he's achieved it at 12 years, 6 months and 26 days. Absolutely incredible performance from him. And yeah, there's not much else to say. Incredible performance from Faustino Oro. He's the second youngest grandmaster in history. Didn't beat Abhimanyu Mishra's record from the United States. I do believe that is still intact. But I mean, 12 years old. 12 and a half, I suppose, because he's 12 years and 6 months. Before 13. How did he become a grandmaster before 13? It's absolutely incredible, and the way he plays, it's just phenomenal. The Messi of chess. Absolutely ridiculous. And we will just see now how far he can go. We saw with Abhimanyu Mishra, he became a grandmaster several years ago. It's taking him time to kind of reach that next level. But when Yagiz Khan and Lokmas just crossed 2,700 at the age of 14, Faustino might be chasing that record. You never know. It's absolutely ridiculous what these young kids are doing. Absolutely ridiculous. What do you think of the Messi of chess?